even with modest means. You can save your candy money for a concert. And for a sophisticated person, a few may be better than many. Better a few treasures than a house full of junk. Lifestyle is a matter of awareness, values, education, and disciplined taste. It is an art that brings joy as its practice, not just a subject to be studied. It is the deliberate decision to savor and enjoy all the experiences and possibilities of life. Lifestyle means expanding your knowledge. I'll bet that within 50 miles of where you are right now, there are some places you have never seen, some foods you have never tasted, experiences you've never had. I grew up in Idaho, and I've never been to Yellowstone Park, and part of it is in Idaho. Thousands of people from all over the world have traveled to Yellowstone. Old Faithful? Doesn't everyone know about Old Faithful? Hey, I've been to Africa, but not to Yellowstone. Isn't it easy to miss something? Isn't it often easier not to do something, see something, experience something? Hey, let's all set a new goal not to miss anything, especially things within our reach, within travel time, walking time, effort time, and that's the key word, effort. Remember, all good things are upstream, a conscious act from a unique thought. That's where the pleasure is, and the act serves as a bridge between dreams and reality. So develop your lifestyle a little more, your style of seeing, giving, sharing, enjoying. It's not the amount that counts, but the experience of choosing to live with style. I remember saying to Mr. Schoaf one time, if I had more money, I would be happy. And he gave me some of the better words of wisdom when he said to me, Mr. Rohn, the key to happiness is not more. Happiness is an art to be studied and practiced. He said, more money will only make you more of what you already are. More will only more quickly send you on to your destination. He said, if you're inclined to be unhappy, if you get a lot of money, you will be miserable. More money will only make you more. More money will only amplify. If you're inclined to be mean and you get a lot of money, you will be a terror. If you're inclined to drink a little too much, when you get a lot of money, you can now become a drunk because you can drink everything. So style is not more. Style is an art, a genius, a design. Lifestyle is reserved for those who are willing to study and practice the higher arts of life. Lifestyle is culture, music, dance, art, sculpture, literature, plays, concert. Lifestyle is a taste of the fine, the better, the best. Mortimer Adler, the philosopher, says, if we don't go for the higher taste, we will settle for the lower one. So develop an appreciation for the fine. That is a worthy purpose. Developing an appetite for the unique things in life. Study the art and reach for the best. To have the best in the time we have available to us, that is the quest. Remember, it's not the amount, it's the imagination.
As I talk to you right now, you're looking at a lot of people up here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just Les Brown standing here. A lot of people have contributed to make me who I am right now. None of us are here because of our own doing. All of us have had life to contribute to us. Many times complete strangers. So we all have cookie people in our lives. What do you mean by cookie people? Cookie people and chicken soup people, as I call them when I do my workshops. Cookie people are people like Miss Lillian. When my mother used to whip me as a kid, and I was the bad twin, always getting in trouble, Miss Lillian would hear me screaming, and after Mama would get through, Miss Lillian would come over to the house and give me some cookies and milk. And my mama said, what you doing back, Lillian? I'm just giving him some cookies, Mamie. And she said, here you are, Leslie. Even though you're a bad little boy, I bought you some cookies. So cookie people are people who, even when you are bad, even when you are not being who you really are, they look beyond your faults and see your needs. Even if you're a moody person and curse them out and dog about sometimes, these cookie people love you unconditionally. How many of you have ever had cookie people in your life? All right. So we all have had cookie people that the universe has put in our lives to contribute to us. The other people are the chicken soup people. Chicken soup people are people that you can call at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, I got a flat tire. Will you come help me? Or my battery is not running. Would you come give me a jump? Or I need some help. Would you come get me out of jail? If you don't have some chicken soup people in your life, you better get some. But these are people that you can always call on to help you out. So I'm encouraging you to give a letter of appreciation to some of the cookie people in your life. Some of them might have already made their transition. Write some letters to some people who were a leg up for you, some people who contributed to you being who you are. And just say, I was just thinking over the years, I know you know I love you and appreciate everything you've been to me, but I just wanted to drop you this letter. here, how do you think they'll feel if they get that? Just out of nowhere, just want to thank you for how you have enriched my life. You might not have thought much of it, but because of the help and assistance you gave me on that particular day, that was a turning point in my life. Why should we give? Well, giving creates a vacuum. And as we know, nature abhors a vacuum. See, when you give, you create a vacuum. You are now in a position to receive. See, if I have my arms closed, holding on to everything I've got, nothing is available to come in. But if I'm open, if I've created a vacuum there by giving and keeping the flow going, the stuff in the universe is going to come back to me, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to come back. Whatever you give, whenever I go into a room and give a speech to inspire people, to help them to develop their greatness, if you get 10% of what I get, because as Bach says, we teach that which we need most. I'm not wearing any crown. I need it as much as I'm sharing it. I'm still growing. I'm still unfolding. I'm still seeking to discover my greatness. And if you get 10% of what I get when I walk out of here, see, there will be a different man walking out of here than who came in here. And as I give, the more I give to you, the more I get. Most people don't understand that. That's a law of life. Do you know that we can literally eliminate poverty overnight? We can eliminate hunger and homelessness overnight if people understood the concept of what giving means and the power in it.
Dross burns, gold doesn't burn. It may melt, it may become softened, but it will never burn because it's gold. So if God allows me, Job says, to put me in the fire for a while, he's only trying to burn off those things that would weaken my value, and I shall come forth as pure gold. Now, I know Job is not the first book in the chronological order of your Bible, but it is the oldest book in the Bible. And from the book of Job to the last writing in the book of Revelations, there's a consistency of understanding. Take a minute and look at Revelations 2:8 through 11. And the Bible says, and the angel of the church in Smyrna, unto the angel in the church in Smyrna, write these things, saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Oh, I'm going to say that again. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation. This is what I love. Ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto them. It's the 10 days that gets me happy. Maybe the 10 days didn't get you happy, but the 10 days gets me happy. It's good to know that before I get in it, God has already given me a schedule to come out. Somebody, I don't know who I'm talking to, but you're on your 9th day. God is speaking to us. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast you into prison, but you're going to be all right. You shall be tried, but you're going to survive. You're going to have tribulation, but I put it on a calendar. I got a timer on it. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. So from the first book of the Bible to the last book of the Bible, we see the same thing being said. The final words in Revelations declare, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the church. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. This is important for us to understand, that from the very beginning to the last, God has a watch. God has a watch, and a timer is on it, and it's already set. Solomon declares in Ecclesiastes, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. And nothing is running chaotically. Everything is on schedule. Everything is on schedule. I said nothing is chaotic. Everything is on schedule. You ought to write that down. Everything is on schedule. It's right. I'm right where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be, going through what I'm supposed to go through at the time I'm supposed to go through it, because God has a time and a season for every purpose under heaven. It's not enough. I want to know my purpose, Pastor. I don't know my purpose. Please pray for me that the Lord will show you your purpose. Don't worry about your purpose. Worry about your season. Because when you get in your season, your purpose will be clear. And wherever there is purpose, there's going to be time. And wherever there's a timing, there will always be a win. Somebody just type win, 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 win. God knows when.
Mr. Leroy Washington did something for me. He started planting seeds in my mind that enabled me to begin to dream, as Dexter has been doing for you. And ladies and gentlemen, I started working on my dream. And most people don't work on their dreams. Why? For many years I didn't. One is because of fear. The fear of failure. What if things don't work out? And the fear of success. What if they do and I can't handle it? The other thing is that most people, ladies and gentlemen, they get comfortable. They stop growing. They stop working on themselves. They stop stretching. They stop pushing themselves. and they end up becoming very cynical about life, and they throw in the towel on themselves and on their families and on their dreams. And the other thing is that most people don't feel worthy. What I'm doing now, I could have been doing years ago. But because I did not have a college education, because I didn't believe in myself, because I allowed other people's opinion of me to control my destiny, I didn't act on my ideas. So I applaud you for your dreaming, for your running towards your dream. I applaud you for believing in yourself, because that's what life is about. Stretching and challenging, looking for ways that you can begin to improve yourself. And ladies and gentlemen, as a result of stretching out, of acting on my dream, and I don't know what that dream is for you, I can tell you that it's possible. No one could have convinced me that after just over 6 years, I will have my own book entitled Live Your Dreams. Just over 6 years, I will have 5 specials on public television. Just over 6 years, I've done motivational speaking for AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, Xerox, IBM, just over 6 years. I will now have my own talk show that will premiere on Monday, Labor Day. I'm saying to you, your dream is possible.
I'm wealthy because of my friends. It's one of the greatest wealths of all, friendship. Those wonderful people who know all about you and still like you, right, friends? I just lost a friend. David died 2-3 years ago. He was the one I used to talk about. If I was stuck in a foreign jail accused unduly, if they would allow me one phone call, I would have called David. Why would I call him? He would come and get me. End of story. That's what you call friend, right? Somebody who would come and get you. Next, I said I'm wealthy because of what I've learned. I'm wealthy from the people who have taught me, from the Earl Schoafs of the world and from other people that have made a contribution to my intellectual discovery, that have helped me to refine the track I live on, for good health, for prosperity, for all the things valuable. Can't put a price tag on someone's book or someone's conversation. Someone who gives you knowledge when you need it the most. When you can't think of the ideas, your head is so clouded maybe with despair and the clouds of difficulty hover near. This is when you need somebody to whisper valuable information in your ear that helps you to survive and then to finally succeed. What is that knowledge worth? You can't put a price tag on it. What's this seminar worth? You couldn't put a price tag on it. The cost of the seminar pays for the lights and the room and somebody like me to come and the staff and all the other things. But the price of the seminar can't be the ideas. Here's what we have to do. Charge you for all the stuff and then the ideas are free. Because how could you put a price tag on the ideas? That would be impossible. If you read a book that spared you from having a heart attack, what would it be worth? Someone says, $19.95. Say, no. That's what it costs. That's what it costs for the cover and the ink and the pages and the words and getting it to you and the brokers and all the stuff in between. That's the $20. You couldn't pay for the ideas. They're free. Key thing I've learned. Never begrudge the money you spend on personal education. Because if you can keep developing your mind and your perception and your awareness and your ability to discover, the fortune is yours. The health is yours. The promise is yours. A good family relationship is yours. Friendship is yours. Everything is yours. If you keep accelerating your education, it's the best money you can invest in your personal self-education. Next, I said, I'm a wealthy man because of my future. You can't believe the people who say to me, Jim Rohn, what do you want to do in the future? We've got the wealth and the resources to do anything you want to do. What do you want to do? Do you know how unbelievable that is? What do you want to do? Incredible. Well, I was lucky. I wasn't searching for a mentor, but one just sort of fell in my lap. A friend of mine said, you've got to meet this guy I've gone to work for, Earl Schoaf. He's rich, but he's easy to talk to. He's got a unique philosophy of life and business. I said, okay, yeah, I got to meet this guy. And then I met him. He invited me to join him in his business and became my mentor. I got the sense right away he delighted just as much in other people's success as he did his own. That caught my attention right away. Then he had the ability to look into the future and see the possibilities that I couldn't see. I can't remember how often he said, trust me. I'm telling you, trust me. Here's how it will go if you'll stay steady and do it right. See, that was great mentoring. Then Bill Bailey. We've been associated in business and projects for many, many years. Bill's unique. Bill can read a 200-page book in about 20 minutes and then tell you about this book and make it more interesting than if you read it yourself. And from his Shakespeare acting to his boxing career and in the Navy and his business career of wealth and productivity. Years ago, of course, he was the big game hunter, the larger-than-life character. It's just been my good fortune to know him all these years. On the second bottle of wine, down on our goat farm in Kentucky, where we're in business together, we wax eloquent. He's a great conversationalist, and I ask a question and he poses some possibilities that I never thought of, and I'm sure I do the same for him. It's great to have that kind of interchange where you kind of wonder together about things. So this could be a possibility, this could be an answer, who knows? Then he's written his own poetry that's unique, and his studies and his concepts are valuable for me. But best of all is simply the friendship, chance to get together, not just share ideas, but just enjoy unique life experiences. And then my parents, they were unique. My father was remarkable in his bit of philosophy. He said, always do more than you get paid for to make an investment in your future. That's a pretty good seminar in itself. My mother was more of a reader and a scholar, and taught me well, gave me a great foundation. Primarily gave me just a great place to live and a great place to stay and learn and grow. Then the sense that when I did leave home, that no matter what happened, I could always go home. So you better treat me right, I can go home. Who needs this? I just had that attitude, not to be arrogant, but I just had that unbelievable confidence that no matter how things turned out, whether it turned out right or went upside down, for my mom and dad, it didn't matter. I could always go home. Mom would bake me biscuits and cook me oatmeal. That relationship was just really unique. It was great between my parents. They had, 65 plus years of marriage, so it was long. But then they gave me that incredible sense of security and caring that whether I did it right or did it wrong or upside down, it really didn't matter. That home was always a place you could come and get some rest and think things through and work it out, and then go back and conquer the rest of the world and see what you can do. There's really not much better sense of security than that. And of course now they're gone and I'm an orphan. I haven't got a mother and a father, but the lingering influence of my growing up years, plus that kind of security and tranquility and sense of refuge from a busy world and out there doing the best you can, and that they truly loved me when I was rich and when I was poor, broke and struggling, and when I did well. And then they enjoyed my success and the applause and some of the experiences of being recognized. They enjoyed that. So it was great. I would wish the same kind of experience for everyone. And then I counsel parents to the best of my ability, provide that kind of security and framework for your children, that they feel comfortable even though they misstep, cross the line, get in trouble, upside down. If a kid gets in trouble, guess who he wants to call? His mother. She'll come and get me. Papa may say to the sheriff, well, leave him in jail overnight, but not Mama. No, if she's there, she'll come and get him.
The scripture says God hastens his word to perform it. That word hasten means quickly, speedily, in a hurry. And I'm not saying that we don't have to wait. There are things that take time. What I'm saying is when you don't see anything happening, it looks like what you're up against is never going to change. When you come into your destiny moment, God will do it speedily, quicker than you thought. You'll accomplish a dream in a fraction of the time. That obstacle looks permanent, suddenly it turns around. That's God hastening his word. 2 Kings chapter 7, the Israelites were surrounded by the Syrian army. They had cut off the Israelites' food supply. Now the people were starving, just a matter of time before they died. Every circumstance said it was permanent. The enemy army was bigger. They had more equipment. All the odds were against the Israelites. But there were 4 lepers sitting outside the city gates. They thought, we have nothing to lose. We're going to die anyway. Let's go down to the Syrian camp and see what they're doing. While they were walking toward the enemy, the scripture says God caused the Syrians to hear the sound of speeding chariots and galloping horses, the footsteps of a vast army approaching. The Syrian king thought the Israelites had hired several armies to attack them. Verse 7 says, the Syrians panicked and fled into the night, leaving all their horses, tents, and belongings. What was that? God causing their enemies to hurry out of their way. Seemed impossible.
Some of you, you are taking too much time trying to convince people to love you that do not matter. Some of you are taking way too much time tolerating and trying to get people engaged that don't matter, that don't care, that are never ever going to help you get into your destiny. I felt like saying to you this week, if somebody can walk away from your life, let them walk away. You shouldn't have to convince anybody to love you. If they can walk, let them go. If they leave you, it means they're not attached to your future.
When people can walk away from you, let them walk. I don't want you to try to talk another person into staying with you, loving you, calling you, caring about you, coming to see you, staying attached to you. I mean, hang up the phone. When people can walk away from you, let them walk. I don't care how wonderful they are. I don't care how attracted you are to them. I don't care what they did for you 20 years ago. I don't care what the situation is. When people can walk away from you, let them walk. Because your destiny is not tied to the person who left. Your destiny is never tied to anybody that left. The Bible said that they came out from us, that it might be made manifest that they were not of us. For had they been of us, no doubt they would have continued with us. People leave you because they're not joined to you. And if they're not joined to you, you get super glue and you can't make them stay. Let them go. And you got to know when people's part in your story is over so that you don't keep trying to raise the dead. You got to know when it's dead. David, when your boy is dead, wash your face and have another baby. You got to know when it's over. Look at somebody and say, nothing just happens. If they walked away, it's no accident. If they left you, it's no accident. If you tried to make it work and it wouldn't work, it's no accident. Accept it as the will of God. Clap your hands, wash your face, do your dance, and keep going. No, oh, baby, don't make me preach it. Let me tell you something. I got the gift of goodbye. I got the gift of goodbye. It's a 10th spiritual gift. I believe in goodbye. It's not that I'm hateful. It's that I'm faithful. And I know whatever God needs for me to have, he'll give it to me. And if it takes too much sweat, I don't need it. Stop begging people to stay. Let them go.
What if I told you that some of the rejection you have been facing in your life, it's because people are jealous of what's on your life? What if I told you that the rejection is simply an indication that you got favor on your life? God is getting ready to do something in your life. You just got to understand there's more to know. Come on, somebody. There's more to know. You got to make sure that when rejection hits you, you don't let it get in you. Because there's no escaping rejection. There's no escaping hearing the word no. If you're going to actually live your life to do something bigger than yourself, you should get used to hearing no, but you shouldn't let no stop you. It could hit you, but don't let it get in you.
I began to realize at the end of the day, as long as there's breath in my lungs, there's hope in our hearts, and giving up's not an option. You and I and we, no matter what your unique situation, your storm, your struggle, your trauma, your abuse, your wounds, your scars, no matter what they are, and I know we've all got them on some way, somehow, some level, whatever they are, I promise you this, you are not a product of your past, you are not a product of your environment or your current unique situation, but you are always a product of how do we navigate through our storm. But you know what I also had to realize? I was allowing things that I couldn't control to control me. You see, growing up, I blamed everything on my dad. I blamed everything on him. He was the reason that I skipped school. He was the reason for my attitude. He was the reason that I went to drugs. He was the reason for my suicidal thoughts. He was the reason for every destructive behavior. Like, I blamed everything on him being ripped out of my life. But you know what I had walked into this trap. I was allowing things that I couldn't control. Those situations that you didn't sign up for, you didn't want to have to deal with. It knocked, it came in front of you, and I allowed that thing that I had no say over, I allowed that to control control me for so long. I was allowing things that I couldn't control to control me. And I had to realize I had to take control of what I can only control. I can't control what you think, what you say, or how you treat me. I can't always control the situations, the struggles, the adversities, the abuses, the hurts, the pains that others have caused me, but I can always control how I react, how I respond, and what I do. I had to take control of me, control what you can control. And truthfully, the first thing that I had to do, which was the most difficult thing that I had to do, I had to realize the anger, the rage, the hurt, the frustration, the pain that I had towards my dad, I had to let it go. And I was scared to let it go because I had so much identity tied up in my wounds. But I had to learn I am more than my struggle. I am more than my wound. I have to let it go. Letting it go and forgiving him didn't justify it, didn't make it right for him. But if a family could forgive me for taking the life of their daughter, how could I continue to understand this, that the anger, the frustration, the madness, the pain that I had towards my dad, it was only poisoning me. And I had to let some things go. And that's a challenge. Because for so long, that pain, that wound, it really became like a safety net for me. Because it was my go-to. It was my reason for all of my struggles. And if I let it go, then I had to begin to face some of my other hurts and my pains. And that's intimidating and it's scary. But the truth is, when we hold on to these things, it's not poisoning the people who did it to us. It's only holding you hostage. And so, I let it go. It didn't justify it. It doesn't make it okay. It doesn't mean that me and my dad became best of buddies. But it allowed me to begin to continue to pursue purpose. And we all got a purpose. Every one of you in this room, you were born to leave your fingerprints on history. Every one of you in this room were born to not just exist, but to experience life. But until you let go of some of the things that you've allowed to define you for so long, you know why? Sometimes we can't change and we can't overcome the suicidal thoughts, the self-injuring mentality, our anger, our rage, our wounds, because all you have been doing for so long, you're consumed by it. All you do is focus on it. It's everything about you. And what you feed and what you focus on, what you feed grows and what you focus on magnifies. And I realized if I stopped being consumed about that, but found the courage to let it go and stop being self-absorbed, but begin to walk even while I was still wounded, begin to move towards my dream. And I realized what I give away, I get to keep. And I started looking to my friends, my peers, my community of other people with storms and struggles. And I began to recognize what gave me real worth, real passion. What helped me really overcome is this: giving. What you give away, you get to keep. When I started having empathy towards my friends, being of somebody that would listen, getting involved in other people's situations and helping them. Why does that help me? Because it took my eyes off my struggle and it put my eyes on beginning to help others. And when I helped others, it gave me real self-worth, real self-value. What you give away, you get to keep.
You have to take the hand you've been dealt and make the most of it. Nothing that's happened to you has stopped your destiny. That person that did you wrong, they walked away. It may have been painful, but they didn't ruin your life. They don't have that much power. If they could stop God's plan, they would be bigger than God. Don't let one bad break, one injustice, one difficult season cause you to be sour, have a chip on your shoulder. When we go through loss, things we don't understand, that victim mentality will always come knocking at the door. We have to make the choice. Are we going to live bitter, discouraged, thinking we're a victim of our circumstances? We're a victim of the loss, a victim of this unfair boss, a victim of this pandemic? Or are we going to believe that God is in control, that He's ordering our steps, that His plans for us are for good? Instead of having a victim mentality, switch over to a victor mentality. That bad break is not how your story ends. The loss, the sickness, the injustice is not going to limit the rest of your life. God said in Isaiah, He will pay you back double for the unfair things that have happened. If you're going to see the double, you have to know that God is going to make it up to you. It may be unfair, but God is a just God. He saw what happened. He knows who hurt you, what you lost, what you're struggling with. He's not going to just bring you out. He's going to bring you out better. Get rid of that victim mentality. Quit dwelling on who hurt you, what you lost. You're not a victim. God always causes you to triumph. That bad break wasn't fair. You didn't like it, but what you can't see is it set you up for double. That boss that overlooked you, you didn't get the credit. You could feel like a victim. No, get ready. God's going to make it up to you. That set you up for promotion, increase, favor that you wouldn't have seen if that had not have happened. And here's the key. Nobody can make you be a victim. They can do things that are not fair. You can go through things you don't like, you don't understand, but none of that can force you to have a victim mentality. You have to give permission to become a victim. You have to make that choice. I'm at a disadvantage. This bad break has stopped my future. I'm asking you to not give permission. Are you going to get upset? Start thinking about how you're going to pay them back? Or are you going to kiss it goodbye and keep running your race, enjoying your life? Those adversaries are getting you prepared for your destiny. Where you're going, there will be opposition, critics, people trying to pull you down. The good news is no weapon formed against you will prosper. They cannot stop you. The forces that are for you are greater than the forces that are against you. Stay on the high road and stay focused on what God has put in your heart. You don't have time to get distracted by all the negative chatter. What people think about you is none of your business. What they're saying shouldn't concern you. There'll always be somebody that doesn't like you. Kiss it goodbye and keep moving forward. Now, there may be some relationships you need to kiss goodbye. And I'm not talking about your husband or your wife. Somebody just thought they got their word for 2019. Your time is too valuable to spend it with peace stealers, people that try to get you all riled up, or with dream killers, people that tell you what you can't become, or with compromisers, people that cause you to give in to temptation. Well, Joel, I've had this friend a long time. If I don't hang out with them, they may get upset. What you're unwilling to walk away from is where you'll get stuck. If you don't kiss the wrong people goodbye, you'll never meet the right people. And if someone is not adding value to your life, making you better, pushing you towards your destiny, you need to make a change. And sometimes it's just a new season. The friends you had 5 years ago may not be the friends you need now. Everybody can't go where you're going. It doesn't mean they're not good people. You've just outgrown them. You're going at a faster pace. If you continue hanging around them, it will limit your growth. You need to gradually spend less and less time with them. If someone is supposed to be in your life, you can't make them leave. And if someone leaves easily, they're not supposed to be there. Quit trying to talk people into staying. You don't have to convince anyone to love you, to call you, to come see you. You are a gift. You are a prize. You have something amazing to offer. If they don't want to be there, that's a sure sign they're not supposed to be there. God has people already ordained that you can't make leave. People that want to celebrate you. People that love spending time with you. If somebody wants to leave, let them leave. Your destiny is not tied to the people that walked away. Be respectful, but kiss the Orpahs goodbye.